Federation. I was downtown a few minutes ago and a young man, a dread, asked me, well, Socrates, what's going on in the Federation? I say, you tell me. You know, the number of news items we can relate to. Example, on Saturday, the 28th of May, the Nyabingi Theocracy celebrated African Liberated Day by, some drumming, speeches, skits in Independence Square. And we have to give credit to them for that because not everybody is attuned to what's going on in terms of our history. African Liberation Day is normally the 25th of May and it's glossed over by many. So we have to give kudos to those who make it an annual event in terms of the remembrance and bringing relevant issues to the fore. The SKN Lupus Foundation gathered at the Moravian Church with a program to bring awareness to the debilitating ravages of lupus. And this was at the Moravian Church at the top of Victoria Road. And we had persons making the contributions like the awesome Larry Vaughan and a number of other performers, etc. Unfortunately, this coincided with another incident, that took place around the same time. The program at the church was for 6 o'clock, and the Mass for Breast Cancer by one of the societies was at the same time. And when I was able to look at the turnout at one of the event, which was the breast cancer match, it was really, really, really well attended. They culminated, would have been in the circus or Independence Square. And the one at the church didn't have the full attendance, but it was very, very well put on. It was more like a memorial. Folks who would have passed from lupus had their family members and friends who came and spoke about what they went through and the need for more awareness on the topic. Then there are issues of national political interest playing out in real time as we gear up for music festival. Now announcing charter flights to SKN for the event, amid speculation that this will coincide with national elections anticipated who knows when. So on many or any of these issues, feel free to give us a call and let's have a discussion as to what's going on in St. Kitts. If you have an issue you'd like to raise and speak about, you're free to do so. Voices is a program where members of the public are invited to call, make the contribution, ask questions. We simply ask that we keep it civil and not get personal with other opinions that would have been voiced by other callers to the program. Just about 11 minutes down past 11, and we're here until 12 for the midday newscast, and then we continue until 1 p.m. So until 1:30, yes. You know, I have seen a moment, so you have to correct me from time to time. I appreciate that. So yes, you're logged on to Voices, and we now go to the phone lines. Good morning, caller. You're live on Voices.
Good morning, the King.
Good morning, sir. How art thou?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Not too bad for an old man. How was your weekend?
My weekend was spectacular.
Beautiful.
The King, let me say good morning to all hearing my voice. This is Journey.
Yes, sir.
And, yeah, I attended a session in the square on Saturday, put on by the Rastafari Nyabingi Association. There was quite a few speakers, but I just want to say something that I observed with a family that was there. When I say a family, I'm referring to, there was a number of families that was there, but one that struck out to me was a a Rastafari family with father, mother, and daughters, and maybe children. Well, young kids, as in
Okay.
boys. But what struck me was the attire of this Rastafari family. I'm not sure of his name, but I've seen him before. I think he's in Bay because I attend.
I know who you mean, but go
Uh,
ahead.
yeah, I attend something that was put on at his home with the vegetables that came from his
I
farm.
know
But
exactly who you mean.
you know, someone made a speech about the way our young women how they attire themselves. I think Mr. Earl Clark made mention. But I just want to say, the king, that I have seen this family and the young ladies, his daughters, and they were modestly attired. And I find that to be profoundly interesting, seeing and knowing today, the king, that with all that we have on social media in terms of, dancehall music that comes out of Jamaica, the way our women, how they dress in their, what we would call pum pum shorts and all those kind of things exposing. I think if one need to emulate anyone, I would recommend this family from Diet Bay. I
Sankofa.
mean, these young ladies, yes, Sankofa, thank you. That's the name I think I heard. I was so taken back by the way these young girls dress. And it is no doubt in my mind, the king, that I am very well aware that these young ladies would know the value of who they are and what they have. By that I mean, the pleasure of a woman, the duality of that pleasure that comes between the male and the female. It is not something where one's supposed to just go for a quick thing, as we sometimes say, a quick, and by using profanity, we use that F word. I'm saying this, that our young women and men need to respect the female, and also the female need to respect themselves by looking into themselves and know, value that their body is a temple, and the pleasure that is the gateway that is between their legs should have value. And it is for us, the young men, to see our women, and if we want to imagine what they have, knowing the value of life that comes from the gateway that is within their legs.
You don't
I
have to
would
repeat that.
recommend
You
that.
don't have to, we know what you mean. You have to repeat that physical. Um, the thing is, the family units, and you spoke about the family, how they were attired and what it represents. That's what's missing across the spectrum in our society. So when we find that, and I knew immediately you was referring to Sankofa and his family because they represent that way. It's a great example as to how we ought to present in public.
Well, the king, the word Sankofa, now, you said that's his name. I think I heard someone mention that too on stage on Saturday. The word Sankofa means to retrieve, to go back. And it have other meanings. Now, you have heard me said many times on this platform that as it were in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. You see, the king, we have lost our way. And we have drifted away from what was obtained, what the order that was given. You see, to be African is to be spirituality with nature. Nature is our biggest teacher, the king. When I was growing up younger, I remember I don't know if you're familiar with this thing we used to call the yellow dad.
Of course.
It's a vine that grows onto any tree, and it would kill this tree. It would suck the tree. It doesn't have any root of its own. We used to call it the yellow dad. It was very popular in my younger days. I scarcely see them now. Now, when I say we have to go back, we know what we were broken from, and we know who broke us. And those who broke us, whether you want to admit it or not, because I myself made a speech on stage on Saturday in the Square the King, and my message is, We have to unite. We have to go back to find Sankofa and retrieve what was hidden, what was taken from us, what was robbed, who robbed us, and put us to hate ourselves and divide us. Because those who have divided us, it is work. Our division is working for them. And about this yellow that, you know what I'm talking about, the king?
Of
Are you
course.
familiar with this yellow vine?
Of course.
Yes. It has no roots of its own. No. I'm going to finish up now, the king, because you see, there are lessons to be learned from nature. Because those who are sucking us, who we refer to as the parasite that have no roots of their own, it is playing out in our reality. When I say nature is our biggest teacher, the king, there's so much to learn from nature. And again, I would say that if anyone knows the Sankofa family, we need to emulate them, male and female, because the woman has to value. And I would say, without any doubt, that those young ladies of Sankofa's family, they have value, and they know what their value is. So again, I'm asking both male and female to respect the female energy and respect ourselves, and let us find who we were before we were broken. Thank you for hearing me.
Thank you for that contribution, and I must say I echo those sentiments. I know the family to whom you refer, and I can tell, I would say I firmly believe that they're well versed in their culture, their history, knowing the father, knowing the mother, and how they were raised. And we can go on and on about how our people are dressed today, not only in St. Kitts, but around the world in terms of our women. And one can be judgmental, one can come off as sounding sexist, etc. But I'm saying our males have got to respect our women, who have to give our males something to respect. On that point, we want to pause from a word from our sponsors, and we will be right back.
Feel the magic happening.
Campari.
Taste.
Something incredible happens when Campari is mixed just right. Like Campari and orange juice poured over ice. Taste it. Try it tonight. Bitter, sweeter, better. Campari. Must be 18 years and older. Drink responsibly.
Enjoy an elevated experience with your Flow Home Internet and mobile combined.
Giving you the best rate for great savings.
With 120 gigs of double data for anything.
And unlimited talk.
On 4 mobile lines.
Simply combine your Flow Home Internet and mobile for the best rate and value. Unlock double data and unlimited talk on 4 mobile lines to go with home internet speeds up to 35 megabits per second. Visit a Flow store to sign up today. Conditions apply.
Buying your medication is easy with City Drug Store's curbside pickup. WhatsApp our certified pharmacist at 662-8769 with your requests. For prescriptions, take a clear photograph and send for review. We will engage you in dialogue and then provide a quotation and link for payment. You can then pay via TDC's online payment portal. And once the transaction is complete, you'll be notified that your pickup is ready. Yes, it's that easy. Send your WhatsApp message to 662-8769 to order your medications today with City Drug Store's curbside pickup service.
At 21 minutes down past the hour, you logged on to Voices, another episode on WINNFM 98.9. My name is Socrates, host of today's program. The lines are now open. If you wish to call and make a contribution, there are 466-0989, 662-0989, and 762-0989. The last caller sort of highlighted one of the societal issues that's been up for debate, hot topic or not, for many, many years, as we see a growing trend in the way our people present themselves in terms of their dress. And one has to acknowledge we live in a democracy. You can't tell people how to dress, but there's an adage that I adhere to. You dress the way you wish to be addressed. If you present in public in a certain way, that's how people will see you. It's all about optics. Sometimes you see a young lady well attired going to office. Well, based on her attire, you guess, okay, she's going to office. If you see someone in a nurse's uniform, naturally, fire officer, police officers, etc. If you're dressed in a certain manner that attracts the opposite sex, or maybe the same sex, to you in a sexual manner, because the way you're dressed, you will get that attention, wanted or not. And sometimes you get the wrong attention because the way you present yourself. I know what the young man is speaking about back in the day, and I can speak about back in the day. We dress more modestly, even in going to church. The first time you saw somebody wearing pants, tight pants actually, going to church, it was in St. Thomas back in the, I would say, mid-60s. Yeah, I'm that old. My family was going to church because we continued the practice here from St. Kitts. When we got through the church and going up the steps, I saw this lady, and it was a shock to us. Now today, in just about any pulpit across the globe, you find women because it's become the norm. But if you're raised in a certain manner, certain things would offend your sensibilities as to, is this appropriate, blah, blah. Oh, it's accepted. It's not the norm. Another drastic example, we were told that certain lifestyles, in terms of the partner you would choose, the expectation was you would befriend a young man or young woman, you'll have the dating process or whatever, and you will lead to marriage. That was the norm, that was accepted. And the church really advocated that. You need to get married, man and woman, woman and man. Now the church is accepting same-sex marriages. And you dare not push back against it because we here in St. Kitts would have signed on to certain conventions that prohibits us from objecting to these changing policies. I would say there are certain laws in the books that have been removed. I think sodomy has been removed as a law because it offends a certain society. And now today, I think I saw an article last week that the Methodist Church is in conflict over same-sex marriage. There were two men at the altar getting married, and the whole thing was being officiated by a minister of the cloth. Something 20 years ago that would be unheard of. And so the social norms that we grew up with are now like, wow. It's just beyond me. And the silent majority is sitting back saying nothing because we don't want to offend anyone. I recall some years ago, a certain taxi driver, if there's a call on the line, just let me know and I'll just stop my speed. A certain female taxi driver, an elderly lady, she was contracted to do a tour with some folks who came on a particular private vessel that docked over at Southwest Bay. And the lady refused to drive them. Actually, she had taken off on the tour, and when she looked in her view mirror, these two men were back there, more or less, making love, hugging up and kissing, and she turned back, and she refused to drive them. I know of another female driver, a very respected tour guide, who refused to drive people with such behavior. And there's pushback. They were even threatened to boycott St. Kitts because if they can't come here, because they have this very strong coalition, they'll be able to push back and affect our economy by not coming to St. Kitts or advising certain cruise lines not to come to St. Kitts because we discriminate against gay couples, as they would phrase it. And so what we would have taught our children in growing up about how to report themselves in public, what's normal, what's not normal. There have been so many debates about it. Oh, they were born this way. They're all God's children, etc. That may be so. But now, those people are pushing their lifestyle right in front of your face, and you dare not object. If not, you're charged with offending them. I don't mind you drinking green tea every morning, that's your business. But don't come and ask me to drink it or force me to drink your green tea. That is where I draw the line. Have your lifestyle, society accept you, fine. But it's wrong to push it in people's face and make them want to accept you. And if they don't feel inclined to, there is a problem. So to the Sankofa family and other families who are serious about the family unit and doing what you can to maintain that that image. Because we as African people, we were very, very big on family. And one of the things the oppressor did was to break up the family unit at every single chance they got. We hear a narrative about the enslaved Africans who were fighting at the fortress at Brimstone Hill with the British, how they fought fiercely because they knew the French would take their families if they won. There were evidence, actually, of the French taking the enslaved family once they won and shipping them off in chains to another island. And so we're told that the enslaved Africans who fought with the British fought fiercely because it was to protect the family, to protect the breaking up of the family once again. Now today, we hear all about family, but we don't have that fervor and understanding of how important it was and it should be to keep that family unit together. About 2 weeks ago, I went to the Marriott to speak to a lady who had flown down to St. Kitts to trace her roots. And I was contacted because I'm part of the Morgan family. We pause for a call. Caller, you're live on Voices. Welcome to the program.
The King.
Good day, sir.
Yes, with your permission, permit me to say something on a global platform, on a global scale now.
Please.
Now, you might be aware that the French president has been re-elected to office last, I think was this month, I think. Emmanuel Macron has been re-elected. Now, with the war between Russia and Ukraine, it has caused inflation, the high cost of living globally. Now, here's what is happening. Emmanuel Macron have over 5,100 military bases on the continent of Africa. It is funny that some people say, we all...
So again, how many military bases?
5,100 military
bases.
Military troops. Military troops.
That's a different thing.
On the continent of Africa.
Okay, yeah.
Now, we all quote the scriptures at times, the King, myself included. What I find strange is that some of us say, the Father. We refer to the God as the Father, the Son, and you know what we always say.
The Godhead.
Right. Now, look at what is happening. More military troops from France is on the continent of Africa. There is protest in Paris presently today, early this month. Heavy protest. The people there are crying out for the high inflation on the cost of living. And this is going across into the UK as well. Now, with all the genocide that have happened, because where I see these things, the King, my opinion, my observation, what we refer to as the Father, the Son, or the Fathers work in mysterious ways. I am saying that our ancestors are with us today. Now, follow me closely. We have no shots to fire. We know of all the military power that the foreigners have on our continent. We have no shots to fire. Now, when there are those who are going to say that the scripture said there's going to be war and rumors of war in diverse places, well, our ancestors are back with us today. Because what is going on in Russia and Ukraine is going to spill over into other European countries. Yes, our ancestors work in mysterious ways because while they are maintaining their grip on our continent with their military powers, look at what is happening in their own backyard. So you see, nature and...
Is this some sort of retribution? Is that what you're saying?
Listen to me, the king. The point that I am making is that what is happening with them being on the continent, things are happening in their own backyard. So the spirit, the ancestors, and the Most High is working in mysterious ways to rid them out of our continent. Because while they are there in their military troops on you and my continent, things are happening that are going to force them to get out. There was an attempted coup on the president of Mali last month, who kicked out France out of Mali. And look at what the platform, the European platform, news platform said, that the attempted coup on the Mali president was backed by a foreign power. They are quickly putting out these news to throw us off as if we don't know which foreign power is behind of all of the coups that have taken place where our president was assassinated. And now they're putting it out first to throw us off as if we don't know who is behind the attempted coup.
Okay.
It is insulting now for them to think that we don't know. So they're trying to put it out in front on the news platform first by telling us that it's a Western power was behind the attempted coup on our Malian President Assimi Goïta. So I'm saying to us, our people need to raise our voices. Let your voice be heard, because words are vibrating, the king.
Okay,
we have
quickly,
no shots to
because
fire.
we have to take a decision break. Was any of this mentioned on any of the platforms in the square on Saturday?
No.
Okay.
And the king, again, a couple weeks back, I was trying to make a point to you pertaining to 3 public figures. And these things that have taken place with these 3 public figures, you're not going to see them on BBC, CNN, Fox, or any of those news platforms, because they does not want the world to know. I'm referring to the President of the United States, the Queen of the UK, and the Pope. But I'm not going to go back to that.
Okay, sir.
Because you see, the platform that I am familiar with, they know, and they are in the nose. Thank you for hearing me, the king.
Thank you once again for your contribution, as we pause once again for a word from our very kind sponsors.
Enjoy an elevated experience with your Flow Home Internet and mobile combined.
Giving you the best rate for great savings.
With 120 gigs of double data for anything.
And unlimited talk.
On 4 mobile lines.
Simply combine your Flow Home Internet and mobile for the best rate and value. Unlock double data and unlimited talk on 4 mobile lines to go with home internet speeds up to 35 megabits per second. Visit a Flow store to sign up today. Conditions apply.
Shopping with TDC just got much easier. Here's how. Log on to shoptdcgroup.com. Shop at your convenience at any time, from anywhere, with your smartphone, tablet, or computer. With our safe and secure payment checkout, you choose the option to pick up in-store or have your goods delivered right to your door. It's that easy. Shop tdcgroup.com, your one-stop online store.
Shop anywhere, shop anytime, same quality you love. Now online. Shop
www.shoptdcgroup.com.
Everything you want, everything you need, got the taste you love. Anywhere that you may be, is the Caribbean flavor. Shirley biscuits make me happy.
Shirley got it all about the flavor. Shirley never let me down. And I lime it at the beach on the town. Shirley biscuits always feel like home.
Everything you want, everything you need, got the taste you love. Anywhere that you may be, is the Caribbean flavor. Shirley biscuits make me happy.
Shirley, the Caribbean's favorite biscuit.
Once again, folks, welcome to another episode of Voices. We got about 20 22 minutes moving up on the midday hour. That's when we'll break for the midday newscast. In the meantime, we are entertaining calls from the public. On the program, the numbers to call 466-0989, 662-0989, 762-0989. We are, as I said, we're taking calls from the public. Somebody asked me this morning what's going on in the Federation. Anyone want to call and give their opinion, give a query as to what's going on around town, fine. I want to believe that we here in Paradise sometimes take things for granted. We live in a very, very beautiful place as far as nature is concerned. And just about everybody on this green planet would favor their slice of paradise. I love St. Kitts and Nevis, Trinidad love their home, etc. And we hear about conflict that's ongoing around the globe. Sometimes it seems continuously. And we wonder how they get to that point. We wonder. That's when people take their paradise for granted. But we go to the phone call now for this call. Caller 11 Voices.
Yes, good morning, King.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm all right. I need to ask a question. Now, we heard the former Deputy Prime Minister said that he didn't attend cabinet meetings for, I think it was 3 months?
That is correct.
Okay. How much time in a month the cabinet meets?
I think cabinet meets every Monday morning.
Okay, good. Well, I went to high school, and if my mathematics is right...
I said once a week.
Okay, and my mathematics tell me that 3 4s are 12.
That is correct. If they met on a regular basis, yes.
But then people say 90 days. How could that be?
I'm not following you. If the period where he did not attend amount to 90 days, so for that 90 days window, I think it's been said he didn't attend any of the meetings.
Yeah, but that cannot bring it to 90 days.
Okay. 3 months, average 30 days, or how much?
The cabinet meets 4 times per month.
Mm-hmm.
3 4s are 12.
Oh, so you're tabulating 90 days. You're saying that he didn't attend cabinet for 90 days.
No, not me. They say he didn't attend for 90 days.
A 90-day period. That's roughly 3 months.
90 days, you will have to meet even Saturday and Sunday.
But they add up to a month, a calendar month. They didn't say 90 meetings. That's two different things. 90 days period is different from attending for 90 meetings.
Yeah, but even when you turn it around, 3 4s are 12. If the cabinet meets 4 times a month, how could you get 90?
So, if the schedule is that you meet once a week, say 4 times a month, and you have 3 months of that coming together, you're going to get the figure that you quoted. But it still means for the 90-day period, there was no attendance by the Deputy Prime Minister.
No, I disagree with that.
Okay.
Because the information that is out there, people believe he did not attend for 90 days.
90 meetings. But you're saying the wording is 90 days, right?
Look, Socrates,
yes.
Do not try to change anything. They say 90 days.
They say 90 days. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And your understanding is 90 days mean they would have had a meeting for 90 days and he did not attend any of those in the 90 days?
Including Saturday and Sunday.
Including Saturday and Sunday.
Yes.
Okay.
And one more thing. The problem with us in St. Kitts and Nevis, we got a constitution and we do not follow it.
Okay. What aspect of it are we not following?
But The procedures is set out in the Constitution. It tells you how to do it and how you proceed in doing things. But then you got people on the sideline, the first thing they say, well, the Constitution didn't say that. How can you discuss what the Constitution didn't say? All you have to do is follow what the Constitution says.
It should not be open to interpretation. It must be followed to the letter.
Yes, sir.
There seemed to be some debate about the Governor General, who I happen to know is a legal luminary. He happened to be our first Attorney General once he retained independence in 1983. And he himself, we're told, sought legal advice as to how to deal with the aspect of the motion of no confidence. It meant that something to him was not quite clear, but in his own wisdom, he sought expert legal advice as to how to proceed with the issue. Some are saying he's supposed to know better, he didn't do the right thing. An opinion does not necessarily translate to fact.
Sakura,
Sir?
All he had to do was follow what the Constitution says.
And in your knowledge, what did he say? As it relates to this matter, in your knowledge, from your knowledge, I should say, what were his instructions and how was he supposed to proceed?
Well, the first thing he should have done was to call in the Prime Minister and ask him if he got the majority of the elected members.
Support of the majority in
no,
Parliament?
You keep following the Constitution. He did not do that. He passed it on to somebody else. That's why we're in the crisis we're in today, you know. And the same thing happened before. If you look at Dr. Douglas, all he had to do was step down, let somebody else become prime minister, and they could have probably been in power today.
I see.
This prime minister, he going down the same road, and he gonna suffer the same fate.
With all the legal advice out there, all the constitutional experts out there, don't you think that they actually did their research and figured they're on good standing legally? Because Mr. Grant is a lawyer, General Powers is a lawyer, the Honorable Mark Grant is a lawyer. They would challenge these things in court, put injunction in place right away. If they had grounds to. I mean, if you look at the whole thing, don't you think that they would have taken that position if they had grounds to?
See, all what you're talking about is impediments here. My position is follow the Constitution. That's all you have to do. Step by step.
I'm going to make a recommendation.
Nobody was asking the Governor General to remove anybody, you know. All he had to do was call in the Prime Minister and ask him if he has the support. That's all he had to do. And
then,
the minute as he said no, the other parts begin to fall in place.
You resign or you call a next election. What are the options?
Look, that's not for me to debate, but I'm saying just follow the Constitution.
Okay.
Don't say you ain't got the authority not to do this and that. Nobody's asking you to move anybody. Just follow the Constitution.
Which was to consult the Prime Minister, inquiring if he had the support of the majority. If he said no, he would have the two options where you resign and let me appoint a new Prime Minister or dissolve Parliament and go back to the electorate.
Right. You know, we're just in this crisis mood every time.
So you don't think that was done?
No.
Okay.
Because he made it clear that he has no authority to remove. Nobody was asking him to remove anybody.
The letter that was sent to him, signed by the three gentlemen, What were the instructions, if you recall, if you know?
Well, technically, they were saying that they did not support him anymore.
Okay.
That means he could no longer govern.
Well, he's still
Because
governing.
Well,
he's still governing.
You see, and that's the problem. That's the problem I got with the Constitution. We need to tear it up, you know. We need to tear it up.
It's a living document. It can be challenged. And we recall that the elections in 2015, a lot of injunctions were put in place to challenge the then Prime Minister when he wasn't adhering to the letter of the law. Injunctions were put in place. So I'm thinking that if these guys had that legal ground to stand on, they would do likewise. That's just my thinking in my limited capacity of what's going on. I've stayed below the fray.
You see, one more thing and I'm going. I like
Quickly, because we have to go to station break, but go ahead.
I like how the United States system is set up, you know. The president, the House of Representatives impeach, the Senate convict or not convict. There's no other way, no other back door to go through.
Okay,
you
appreciate
go
that.
through it, and however you come out, you come out.
Okay, sir.
All right.
Thank you for your contribution, but I hope we don't end up in that kind of confusion that the U.S. Anyway, we pause for a word from our sponsors, and thank you for your contribution.
Make it Mother's Day every day at the TDC Home and Building Depot. For the woman who does it all, we're offering up to 35% in savings all month long. Still not sure what to get? Gift your mom a TDC gift card and let her purchase her heart's desires. Celebrate the woman who means so much to you and shop at the TDC Home and Building Depots. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
Enjoy an elevated experience with your Flow Home Internet and mobile combined.
Giving you the best rate for great savings.
With 120 gigs of double data for anything.
And unlimited talk.
On 4 mobile lines.
Simply combine your Flow Home Internet and mobile for the best rate and value. Unlock double data and unlimited talk on 4 mobile lines to go with home internet speeds up to 35 megabits per second. Visit a Flow store to sign up today. Conditions apply.
And we're back with the program. You're logged on to WINNFM 98.9, listening to another episode of Voices. Interesting call, the last caller. But now I have a query from somebody who wants to know how much duty is accorded taxi drivers on the new vehicle. It used to be, I think it was 10%. No, $1,000 back then. You only had to pay $1,000. That's all you had to pay. And then when the government changed and under the Douglas regime, they removed it. You had to pay X amount. And then VAT came in. As it stands today, I believe that the duty is waived, but you've got to pay the VAT and the custom service charge on that. If I stand to be corrected, if anybody can call me and let me know exactly what is the current procedure. But I do believe that once you qualify, and one of the things that must be in place, your social security contributions have to be up to date. So when you apply through tourism for that, all your contributions, especially with the Social Security Board, have to be in place. And then you go through all the different things, Ministry of Finance, and once approved, I think the duty is waived, but you've got to pay the 17% VAT and whatever the custom service charge is. As I said, I stand to be corrected. If anybody knows better, call and let me know. The numbers to call are 466-0989, 662-0989, 762-0989. At 8 minutes up to the hour, we continue with the program. So the issue about whether the Governor General erred in his duties, I don't think so. I mean, the gentleman is a distinguished legal luminary. And I have no doubt that he would follow the Constitution to the letter. I think there's some misunderstanding as to what was required of him, how much powers he had, and what he did. As it stands now, we are facing another elections. Parliament has been dissolved. Normally there's a 21-day window. Now we have 90 days. And the Prime Minister is the one who determines exactly when the polls or the election will be called. It was a debate held prior to 2015 as to exactly how we should go about calling the elections. Should the Prime Minister be the one with the key to determine exactly when, or should there be a set date? That got my attention, along with the other promise of 2-term limits. And I think across the region, it was debatable, should it be done, can it be done, how would it look? And I thought we were poised to lead the region in that. Unfortunately, we're in a state of paradise lost. I saw a troop display some years ago in USVI with a guy, depicting 2 pair of dice, and was pair of dice lost, but of course the thing was paradise lost. I don't think we're lost. I think we need a reset. I think the country needs a reset. I can only hope that when the date is announced for the next election, that we can continue peacefully to the polls, and the election is conducted in such a manner that we can all respect the results of the polls. When there is suspicion and all kind of shenanigans that you're hearing about, it creates that atmosphere of anger, rancor, dissatisfaction, and we would not want that. Whatever is going on right now, I believe at the end of the day, it will sort itself out. I can only hope that it can be done and seen to be done fairly, and that we respect the results. I don't think a lot of folks are happy with what's happening in the Federation. I am not. As a matter of fact, the last conversation I would have had with the Honorable Wendy Phipps, she said to me, we just need to pray for our Federation. And I think we need to do so. We need to sit back and pray for our Federation. Now, all the campaigning, all the paraphernalia is out there, all the he did this, she said that, blah, blah, is out there in all his ugliness. In all his ugliness. People are embarrassed, people are surprised, people are shocked because it looks so rosy and beautiful and smooth, but whatever was happening beneath the surface has now come to the fore, and it's not good, but out of the bad, we hope to get better, hoping that we get better. So, as I said, I believe the Governor General would have acted in accordance with the Constitution. Others differ based on what we're told or what we think we know. At the end of the day, at some point, and I would hope that sometime in the future we have legislation that speaks to a specific date for elections so people can plan for it. Over the weekend, there was an announcement that there are now chartered flights being offered for folks who want to come in during the music festival. And again, speculations, is a ruse to bring in people to vote and this and that, and what happens to the overseas votes. There were discussions of putting legislation in place and restrictions or policies in place that the overseas vote had to be resident here for like 21 days or whatever, etc. In Antigua, it was actually 3 months. You had to be there for 3 months before you were allowed to go to the polls. And whatever the intention was, that didn't happen. I understand that the Honorable Gentleman on Nevis was not in favor of it. But we had the elections, the last 2 elections, without the benefit. Well, the last one especially, without the benefit of the overseas vote. Now, the last 2 elections was determined by the overseas vote. The last one, we had nobody who were able to come in and vote. The one prior to that, certain flights didn't get in time. So it's all that's happening on the ground right now. The big question is, what if those flights are allowed to come in? And those folks, rightfully so, are allowed to take part in the next election. So that equation, I don't know if it has been factored in. We're hearing that there are 3 parties running, and they're actually another one. There's an independent. Rascolunji has a party. I wanted to debate that with him. But on the level now, we have the Labour campaign, and they're in high gear. They feel their oats. You have the PLP. Some say they have the O. So they're doing what they have to do. Pam is up there assuring their membership that they will return victorious at the poll. We don't know. At the end of the day, we all have to live with the fact that we're all nationals. And as I said that, nationals and citizens are 2 different things. 2 different things, you know. And now we hear the PM saying that he's now offering, pardon? Yeah, we're going to break for the news now. For non-nationals, he's waiving the business permit, the fees for the business permit. That bothers me. But that's a different story for a different time. As we now pause for the midday newscast, we'll get back right after. Enjoy yourself a wonderful lunch. See you on the other side.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
We now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, KDP Enterprises, Carib Brewery, and National Bank.
With over a century of perfection behind the Mackeson name, a smooth blend with perfect balance and richness, it's no wonder Mackeson Triple Stout has a legacy of perfection. Enjoy the world over. Introducing our new look with the same great taste. Mackeson. All hail the king.
Please drink responsibly.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Did you know that National Bank offers very favorable terms and low interest rate to switch your home mortgage? Our in-house legal department will process your mortgage in a jiffy and free of cost. Switch your home mortgage now and get a peace of mind knowing that we are here for you. National Bank, always here.
Protect your lifestyle with Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Till you walk with a low reputation and service for second to none. Securing you is our mission. People that you can trust, your business, property, we got you covered. Motor or personal, whatever it is, we got you covered. 130 years in this business, we've got you covered. For all your insurance needs, visit or call us at 465-2631 or 469-5303. Delia Walwyn, people you can trust.
With the WIN headline news, I am Devon Cornelius, making the headlines. COVID-19 update. Health officials urge the public to not drop their guard against COVID-19. Community spread reflected in latest situation report. Miss St. Kitts places first runner-up in Miss Elegance Mothers pageant. Across the region, Trinidad and Tobago dropping travel pass system from June 1st, and house guests assaults hosts in Belize, killing one. Internationally, U.S. to review police response to Texas school shooting, and President Zelensky makes first trip outside Kyiv since Russia's Ukraine invasion. Now the details. With the return of popular events in the near future, health officials have urged the community to remain diligent with their preventative measures against COVID-19. The COVID-19 situation dashboard released Sunday shows 66 active cases in the Federation. 26 of those cases are in St. Kitts and 40 cases in Nevis. To date, the Federation has registered 5,719 positive cases of COVID-19 in the community. Dr. Cameron Wilkinson, Medical Chief of Staff at the Joseph in France General Hospital, told WINFM, quote, "We established before that we had a community spread in St. Kitts and Nevis. We will now have spikes and troughs in the numbers depending on our behavior. These are cases in the community. In the coming weeks, there will be a physical return to major activities in the country, including the St. Kitts Music Festival and the Nevis Culturama Festival. Health officials continue to encourage individuals to wear face masks, wash hands, sanitize, and practice personal responsibility. Meanwhile, the vaccination program continues. Vaccines are available for adults and children between the ages of 12 and 17 years old. Children in St. Kitts and Nevis who are younger than 11 are not eligible to be vaccinated. Sponsored by the Development Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis, Kittitian native Miss Shikoma Green was sashed first runner-up in the 5th annual Miss International Elegance Mothers pageant on Saturday night, May 28th, at the Tropicana Ballroom in Simpson Bay, St. Martin. Miss Green was also awarded Miss Photogenic, Best Promotional Video, and Best Sunday Best Wear. Competing in the pageant were 4 other ladies representing Antigua and Barbuda, Trinidad and Tobago, British Virgin Islands, and host country St. Martin. There were 5 non-judged segments. Miss Antigua and Barbuda received the Social Media Award. Miss Congeniality was awarded to Miss Trinidad and Tobago. Miss Popularity went to Miss St. Martin, along with Best Promo Video and Most Photogenic to Miss St. Kitts and Nevis. In the judged segment, Best Sunday Best Wear was awarded to Miss St. Kitts and Nevis, and Best Speech and Best Question and Answer was awarded to Miss Antigua and Barbuda. Miss St. Martin copped a majority of the judged segments, being awarded Best African Wear, Best Traditional Cultural Wear, Best Evening Wear, and Best Talent. Miss International Elegance Mother is Miss St. Martin, followed by Miss St. Kitts Shikoma Green, second runner-up Miss Antigua and Barbuda, and third runner-up Miss British Virgin Islands.
Travel restrictions in Trinidad and Tobago are set to be scaled way back from June 1st, following announcements by Health Minister Terence Deyalsingh that the COVID-19 travel pass system and supporting requirements will be scrapped. Deyalsingh said that with cases plateauing at about 200 new cases being recorded daily, which compares well with regional and international data, it suggests that the acute phase of the outbreak in TNT is waning. As a result, local authorities have decided that it would be safe to relax protocols. Come next Wednesday, vaccination information will no longer need to be declared, meaning that nationals and non-nationals who are not vaccinated against COVID-19 will once again be permitted to enter Trinidad and Tobago. Travelers will still be required to provide a negative COVID-19 test result from a test taken within 48 hours of their arrival, the absence of which will result in the individual being placed in state quarantine. However, quarantined people can test out at any time once their results are negative. Mandates for mask wearing, physical distancing, and sanitizing remain in effect. When Guyanese national Corwin Arthur completes his 15-year jail sentence for fatally stabbing his ex-girlfriend's husband in 2018, he will immediately embark upon a 13-year period of incarceration for a rape and assault committed in 2013. A 16-year-old girl was reportedly walking home from a birthday party when Arthur accosted her armed with a knife and threatened to kill her if she did not comply with his demands. Despite the threat to her life, the girl attempted to raise the alarm anyway, at which point Arthur reportedly hit her on the head with the knife, dragged her into the bushes, put the weapon to her neck, and raped her at knife point. When she finally managed to escape his clutches, the quick-thinking teenager pocketed Arthur's cell phone, which had fallen out of his pocket during the brutal assault. She then turned the phone into police as evidence of the crime committed. A sergeant of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service and his family narrowly escaped with their lives after their home was deliberately set on fire in the wee hours of Thursday morning. Police say the Princestown home was firebombed about 2:30 a.m. while everyone inside was fast asleep. Luckily, the sergeant was awakened by the loud explosion and spotted flames coming from the garage. After initial unsuccessful attempts to quell the blaze with a fire extinguisher, the police officer decided to evacuate his family instead. By the time police and the fire department responded to the scene, 3 vehicles in the garage were destroyed and the family's pet birds were dead. Although the house was not fully consumed by the flames, the property was reportedly uninsured, leaving the family to finance its rehabilitation. Police in Belize are investigating what local media is calling a case of house guest turned murderer after a man housed by 2 cousins reportedly perpetrated a brutal assault against them, which proved fatal for one. 34-year-old Juan Arturo Mendez and his female cousin reportedly opened up their home to a man who apparently had nowhere else to turn. Their guest reportedly wore out his welcome after some time and was asked to leave the residence this past Sunday. The man then reportedly began arguing with Mendez over the matter, but the female cousin supported the decision that his sojourn with them was over. The man then allegedly responded by drawing a machete and chopping them both. Mendez was killed by the attack while his relative sustained injuries to her face and was subsequently hospitalized in critical condition. The suspect has been detained and is now in police custody awaiting formal charges.
"78 minutes. That is the precise length of time police are understood to have waited before going into the elementary school in Texas to tackle the gunman who killed 19 children and 2 teachers. Public anger has been growing since the revelation on Friday. Officers waited in a hallway as children trapped with the teenage gunman made desperate emergency calls. The US Department of Justice is looking at this, is going to investigate the cause of this delay. President Biden met grieving families on a visit to Uvalde earlier, along with survivors and first responders. Barbara Pletasher reports from the town.
This is the hardest visit a president has to make, especially when the victims are so young. Mr. Biden and his wife Jill joined the mourning of a devastated community, pausing to recognize each of those murdered at this school, 19 children and 2 teachers. The president draws on his personal history in these moments of public grief because he's lost 2 children of his own. A bouquet of flowers added to the mound of remembrance that seeks to dampen the horror by honoring the dead. The rampage began when the teenage gunman entered the school through a back door, armed with a high-power rifle. Children as young as 8 were trapped with him for an hour before security forces finally stormed in. The Justice Department announced today it would review the police response. Mr. Biden went on to meet privately with the families of victims. He also attended a church service. As he left, the crowd outside called for action. But this is a difficult political environment. There's a fierce debate about how to stop such attacks. The president wants to tighten gun laws and faces strong partisan opposition. Especially in Texas. This is, after all, gun country. There are mixed feelings about Mr. Biden's visit.
I don't know if it can make any difference, actually. I think that as a nation, we're just very divided. But I think that, in a time of crisis, it's great for leaders to show unity.
We just need to grieve. We just come here and give us hope for tomorrow, but don't tell us politically what we need to do.
Most of all, the families did not want their pain to be drawn into the political disputes. Patricia Castanon is lost in a fog of grief at the death of her niece Annabelle.
She was happy, smiley. This is how she was with me. There's no words for me to say. She was just a good person.
We know that the president is coming to visit. Do you think that will help?
No.
No? Why do you say that?
Because he can't bring her back. He can't bring her back. He can't bring none of them back. And nobody can.
He can't bring them back, and he's struggling to protect others. His biggest obstacle is how to prevent this from happening again. Barbara Pletasher, BBC News, Uvalde, Texas.
Earlier we spoke to US gun law expert Robert Spitzer about the criticism that the police waited for more than an hour before dealing with the gunman.
There is a strategy which says that if there's an active shooter, police responders need to go in immediately. However, if the active shooter stops shooting, stops firing, and there's a pause, that might be reason to hold back, to wait for a SWAT team perhaps, or specially trained unit for fear that other people might be injured if they rush in at a moment that's inopportune. That would be the justification. That happened at the Pulse nightclub in Florida several years ago, where there was a long delay before the authorities finally went in. The problem in the case of the Texas school is apparently they shouldn't have waited. And the initial instinct of at least some of the police officers on scene to go right in was countermanded because they got orders not to do that. And in retrospect, I mean, we don't know because we don't have a full investigation yet, but it looks like that was a mistake. And indeed, even the police officials said that.
President Zelensky has made a rare trip beyond the Ukrainian capital, Kyiv, to visit his troops on the front line in eastern Ukraine. He went to the Kharkiv region close to the Russian border, an area once again under attack. The president described the situation in some parts, particularly in Severodonetsk, as indescribably difficult for the Ukrainian army. Our correspondent Caroline Hawley reports.
He came to Ukraine's second largest city to be shown the damage inflicted by Russian forces in some of the fiercest fighting of the war, to talk of reconstruction, and to reward the Ukrainian soldiers who'd repelled the Russians from Kharkiv.
I'm greatly honoured to be here. I want to thank each one of you for your great service, for risking your life for our sake, for the sake of our country. Glory to Ukraine.
This was a visit aimed at boosting morale as Ukraine suffers losses in the Donbas region further east. President Zelensky said the situation facing the army there was indescribably difficult. With heavy artillery, Russian forces are pounding Ukrainian positions. All this firepower helping them advance in a war that's killing more and more people every day.
That was the WINNFM Headline News. The Headline News is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, The Grange, KDP Enterprises, Carib Brewery, and National Bank.
Protect your lifestyle with Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Till you walk with a low reputation and service per second to none. Securing you is our mission. People that you can trust, your business, property, we got you covered. Motor or personal, whatever it is, we got you covered. 130 years in this business, we've got you covered. For all your insurance needs, visit or call us at 465-2631 or 469-5303. Dealey Walwyn, people you can trust.
Stop standing in long ATM lines to withdraw cash. Use your national debit or black cards to complete a wide variety of transactions at supermarkets, variety stores, gas stations, pharmacies, and more. Shop online at the most popular websites and stores for quality brands using your national debit or black cards. And take back your time to enjoy all the things that you love to do. Remember, instead of waiting in long ATM lines to withdraw cash, use your National Bank cards today.
National Bank, always here.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organisation on St Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Found the sound. 98.9 Win FM.
Get your property properly covered today. Constructing your dream house or considering renovating your property? We will make sure your property is properly covered at Guardian General Insurance. Yes, at Guardian General Insurance, we will ensure that your property is properly covered with our private dwelling and contractors all-risk promotion. Visit or call us today and get affordable rates, premium financing arrangements from now until March 31st, 2022. We will properly cover fire, lightning, explosion, thunderbolt, bursting or overflowing of water tanks and apparatus pipes, burglary, theft or larceny, impact by road vehicle, riot, strike or malicious damage, hurricane, earthquake or volcanic eruption, flood, collapse due to subsidence of landslip, loss of rent, cost of temporary accommodation, and much more. So get your property properly covered at SL Horsford and Company Limited, local agents for Guardian General Insurance today. Special terms and conditions apply. Call today at 869-465-9355 for further details.
At 24 minutes past the 1 o'clock hour, that's 12 o'clock. You're logged on to Voices. We are in for the second segment of this program. My name is Socrates, and want to welcome back all those who were on this morning, those who may have just joined us. We're saying welcome to Voices to the World because we're live on various platforms, listening and viewing around the globe. We know we have Rosemary Donald up there in New York, and she's one of our fans. Chris touched base with me a bit earlier, but I've not had a contribution from him. We got Anguilla logged on, Zara, Cleo, Amber down there, and they stay tuned and from time to time give me little updates as to what's going on in the neck of the woods here in St. Kitts. It's a beautiful day out, and we're enjoying the blessings of living in paradise. Yes, I did say that. We have a double slice, as a matter of fact. St. Kitts and Nevis, SKN, Limega, and Uwali. We have to count our blessings, regardless of what seems to be going on below the surface. We have to count the blessings. We hear around the globe about so many pockets of conflict, and we boast that we're blessed. This thing comes with an effort. One has to be mindful of where we are, how we arrive here, and what it needs to maintain the semblance of peace and tranquility. There will be rancor even amongst the closest knit family. There will be issues, challenges, stepping on each other's corn, etc. That's all part of the learning and growing process. Here in St. Kitts, we live in paradise. A few days from now, we are into the Atlantic hurricane season, June 1st, and I know that we would have learned from the mistakes others would have made in the past. It's for us to capitalize on that information and be as prepared as we can be. Fingers crossed, hoping that there is no loss of life, limb, and property to anyone in the region. But we know these things somehow break down. And we go to the phone lines. Caller, you're live on Voices. Welcome to the program.
Good afternoon again, the King.
Good afternoon, sir. How about that?
I'm good. Now, pertaining to your news at midday, let me ask you this. The shooting at the school, where was this taking place?
In Texas. Texas.
Okay. Now, I'm going to refresh your memory on something that the president said earlier this month. And his words were, hate does not go away. It hides under a rock until you give it oxygen to come out. These were the words of the president. I think it was recently after the shooting in Buffalo.
Buffalo, yes.
Yeah. Now, I like us to pay attention to words and figures coming from public figures like the President, the Pope, the Queen of England. And even when we have the Queen grandson who said the bond between the realm of the Caribbean is unbreakable. You see, the King, we are in a time now when there is a cosmic shifting. The earth has shifted. You know, all that is happening is playing out in our reality because we are the target. We, the melanated people on this planet, are the target. The earth has shifted, the King, and they knew it. They knew when it was about to happen, and that's why they gave us COVID and the wearing of the facial diaper that we've been wearing to prevent us from inhaling all that is shifting from the cosmos, the sun, the sun, the energy that have reactivated our DNA. The King.
I'm listening.
For those of us who does not know what I'm talking about and feel like what I'm saying, that like, oh, I am the only one that is beating this dead horse, we need to wake up. Those who have our blueprints at their fingertips are showing us everything that they have. Even in what we call in our movie theater, they're showing us who we are by using their characters in the movie. And when we go to see these films, we go to see it as entertainment and not seeing the bigger picture. When the president said hate hide under a rock, he know exactly who he's referring to. When are we going to recognize the beast that we are dealing with? You know your history.
Who do you think he was referring to?
The reptilian race. Make no mistake about this, the King. Now, they came from us. And all that they have displayed, all that they have imposed upon us, is a message behind it, because they came from us. They came out from us, the King. But what they have given us through conquest, they have given us Christianity in their narrative, and we are stuck in it. We have swallowed it hook, line, and sinker, and that is why we are remaining in the Celsius rather than arising to the Fahrenheit who we are. The King, you know, our ancestors were great when it all began. We were broken by these creatures. Yes, these creatures have broken us. And for those who hearing me speak might think that I have hate in my heart, far from the truth. I have no hate in me for them. But I want our people to condemn the evil that they have committed. Because again, I said, the King, to know your story, you have to know his story. And once you know what they did to us, you would embrace who we were, what we were broken from, and they don't want us to arise. They are afraid of us, the King, because they know who we were. We were the ones who spoke, and it was made manifested. We said a word, and it became life. They know it. And they gave us Christianity in colonialism. So in a way, they have created a God in their own narrative, and they have us stuck in it. I have said before, the King, and I'm going to finish now, I have said before, the Bible is our story. We need to see the reality in our day that was imposed upon our people back then, because it is prevalent. To know your story, the King, you have to know his story. The wickedness that they did and hid from us. The King, today we are a people who like to say, I have been to. I have been to America. I have been to Europe. I myself have been there. We love saying it. We like to echo it. We are a people who like to say, I have been to. Look at what General Powell did just recently. He took up our students and took them to Dubai. When are we going to have ministers who want to make connection with our continent? But General want to push our people over into Dubai, and maybe not here alone. There are those of us who want to go there too.
All right, sir.
Thank you for hearing me, the King. Let us wake up
Much appreciated.
and embrace who we are.
Okay, thank you, sir. What I take away from the shooting in Texas is that 2 weeks prior we had the 20-year-old who killed some 10 persons in Buffalo, all black. They were targeted racially. Has anybody made mention of the fact that the students in that school were all Mexicans? And we take a call from the public. Caller 11 Voices. Was the shooter also Mexican? Oh, shot his mother, his grandmother in her face. When we go back to the phone lines. Caller 11 Voices.
Sorry about Mr. King. Let me just say this. In the shooting in Buffalo, there was a police officer, a retired police officer by the name of Aaron Salter. If you have seen the video of the shooter before he entered the parking lot, the whole thing was videotaped by himself. Now, in my opinion, let me repeat this, in my opinion, the King, that shooting was orchestrated. He was sent there. And Aaron Salter was the target. Why? Aaron Salter is a retired police officer who have developed a motor engine that would power the vehicle running by water in his garage. The technology that Aaron has came up with, that he invented, that would power a vehicle on water, they don't want it to be in the melanated hand. The King, these things are deep, and it might sound like folly to those who are not ready, or for those who are not awakened. You know that whenever our ancestors have invented anything back in the day, under colonialism, the master claim it. The Ford vehicle, the technology of the future, the King, is in the hand of the melanated race. They don't want that. That is a threat to them.
Okay, sir.
Aaron was the target. Thank you for hearing me.
Appreciate your call and your fervor. Yes, I was discussing prior to you calling about the issue with the shooting of the 19 students in Uvalde, Texas. You're not saying that the shooter was actually Mexican, but because there was nothing really said about him. He's a Ramos. That's just so sad. And we go back to the phone lines. Caller, you live on Voices.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Dr.
Welcome to
Phil.
Voices. Yes. How are you doing?
Yes, greetings. Yes, greetings to you in Jesus' name, who is the only Savior from sin and from hell, and the second person of the eternal Trinity. Now, let me say this. A lot of people, like your caller before, like to say that we got a colonial Christianity. Well, you see, the thing is that true Christianity, based upon the Bible, came to us in different ways. As a matter of fact, you had Africans who were Christians long before the slave trade began. Any Christianity that is based upon the Bible is true Christianity. And the Bible came to us from the Jews of ancient times. And from the ancient Jews, Christianity spread all around the world. So it did not begin with Europeans. It began with the ancient Jews.
Okay.
As the Bible says, salvation is of the Jews, and they are the ones who are given the word of God. Secondly, I would like to say quickly as well. Do you see these shootings? Well, let me say this. People who back and who further the murder of the most innocent among us, the unborn, they are no better than the shooters. As a matter of fact, they're probably even worse because abortion murders far more people than anything else. And not only that, black people are very disproportionately destroyed by abortion. So people who backs abortion, people who commits abortion, that sort of stuff, they're all in the same category as the shooters.
I got your point.
It really is much different.
Got a point. Got a question for you before you leave, though.
Mm-hmm.
The narrative or the biblical accounting of the Egyptians enslaving the Israelites?
Yes.
What race were the Egyptians?
What race?
Yeah.
Yes, from what I've read.
The black people.
More you go into, Egypt.
They were black
was a
people.
Country of mixed race. Egypt was a country of so-called mixed race, different races. The more you got to this,
Weren't the pharaohs black of the Negroid race?
No, it was mixed. It had Negroid race, you had Mediterraneans, the lighter skin. You had different races in it, so-called race. Because I don't really believe in this race thing. We're all one race, okay? But you had people of different skin hue in Egypt. You have the lighter skins and you have the darker skins, and you had in between in Egypt.
And so the Egyptians enslaved the Israelites?
They enslaved all sort of people, including the Israelites.
We're talking about the Israelites because they were Moses was supposed to have led them out of Egypt. Right. Now, what race was the Israelites?
What race were the Israelites?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
when was Israel created as a nation?
Okay, hold on. Based upon archaeology and history, it is said that the Israelites were swati skinned like Arabs today.
Mm-hmm.
There were too fair to be considered black, and there was too dark skin to be considered white. They were in between swati, olive skin hue. You asked when Israel became a nation?
Yeah. 1967?
Oh, you're talking in modern time?
Yeah.
I was thinking about ancient time. You're talking about in modern time?
Go back to ancient times.
Well, ancient times, Israel became a nation when Moses led them out. When Moses led them out of Egyptian slavery, and when they settled in the promised land, I think is under Joshua, that is when they became, you could say, a nation. Mm-hmm. When they settled in the promised land.
So is the modern day Jew representative of that race?
I believe they're part of it. In the sense that Israel through the dispersion in AD 70, the Romans took them all over the world. The Romans took them to Africa. Some went to Africa, some went to China, some went to other places in the East, some went to Europe, that sort of stuff. And you find that wherever they went, their descendants took on the skin hue and features of the people that they were living among as they intermarry and intermingle with the people. The descendants became just like the people who were there, who they lived between when they intermingled.
I have a text sent to me that says the Egyptians and Israelites, Hebrews, original Jews were black. What's your response to that?
Go ahead, I'm listening.
I'll ask you to respond. The text says the Egyptians, the Israelis, or the Israelites, Hebrews, the original Jews were black. What's your response to that?
Who said that?
I have a text sent to me from somebody from the public.
Yeah, that's a lot of people, but based upon history, based upon archaeology and that sort of stuff, ancient Egypt considered people, ancient Egypt consisted of people of different skin hue, the lighter skin hue and the darker skin hue. And by the way, white people have melanin in the skin, just that they don't have as much melanin, but white people also have melanin in the skin. The ancient Israelites the ancient Israel, then they were not black in the sense of me and you, in the Negroid sense. They were dark skin. They were too light to be considered black and too dark skin to be considered white. They were in between, like middle brownish kind of color.
Okay.
Swatty skin kind of color.
I just want to put it out to test with that one. We have to pause for a word from our sponsors, but I want to thank you for your contribution, as usual, okay? Thank you, sir. We now pause for a word from the sponsors.
Your Horsefoot Value Mart IGA Value Club Blue Tag Specials from May 19th through June 1st. Nabisco Oreo Cookies, $19.99. Tropicana Berry Punch, $7.99. Briar's Premium Ice Cream, $22.99. IGA or Essential Everyday Frozen Waffles, $8.99. Essential Everyday Fries, $10.99. Essential Everyday Dry Roasted Peanuts, just $10.99. And now our very low weekly
value deals. Special K cereal, $13.99. Extra liquid detergent, $12.99. Lay's stack chips, $5.99. Palmolive dish liquid, $9.99. Ladies Speed Stick deodorant, $9.99. All Orchard apple cocktails, $7.99. Shop smart, shop value mart. Ahora en español.
Sea listo y haga sus compras aquí a Value Mart.
And we're back with the program, and we go straight to the phone lines. Caller, your live and voices. With a caller, your live and voices. We're back with the program.
Hi, the King. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
I'm giving thanks for life.
Beautiful.
Yourself?
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I'm good. I'm good.
Huh?
I'm good. I'm wonderful. Go right ahead.
Yes. May I have permission to speak, sir?
Most certainly.
A little synopsis of what transpired over the weekend. It climaxed to what happened in the square as we, all things Africa, African was being dealt with. And Junior Liebert did an excellent job as the featured speaker in the sense that as a kid in the 70s going to the square, African Liberation Day, Junior Liebert was one of the stalwarts, along with who we call Eat Truth today. A change of name because the Eli, he does not see himself as a liar, a name having a word like
Eli
lie.
X, so he's now Eat with X?
Himself Eat Truth.
Okay.
Two, Baruti, Pat Carlisle, the brother from Sandy Point. Mr.
Are we called Pat
Amini.
Baruti?
Yeah. And Leroy Williams hails from Newtown, Isata. Some of those guys migrated. Some of them went to meet with their ancestors. And so the baton has been passed to the other generation that will continue to hold the torch high. The King, I just wish to piggyback on what your last caller said about Swati. Let's see with the word Swati. Remember the actor Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yes.
I remember one of the big commanders in the, I think was the first war, Iraq War.
Schwartz.
Norman Schwarzkopf.
Yeah. Something like
Yeah,
that.
those names, Swati. If it is Germanic by origin,
Austrian,
or
but
if it is Eastern European by origin.
Swathi. It's different than Swartz.
Yeah.
Swathi speaks of a kind of color, washout color, whatever thing like that.
Yeah, it's more dark skin than that's the word they use for black in that part of the world, in those linguistic expressions. In English it's Stuart. Okay? There are words to describe a black person. So by Greg saying Swati, he is correct. But by trying to move it away from its black originality, He is not correct. And yes, at their times in Egypt, according to the chronology, King, you have to bear in mind, what time you were talking about. And because they were dynasties, 25 dynasties. So at the 25th dynasty and so forth, and, probably the 24th dynasties and other dynasties, on the bottom end of the Egyptian dynastic period, yes, you would have found the Greeks, you would have found the Romans, you would have found a mixture of people. But we are talking about the earlier dynasties, like, the era when they said this guy, the boy king, Tutankhamun, and all of those brilliant kings, that family lineage, like family dynasties, that is when the accomplishment of many, many things has been done, like the pyramids and most of the monuments has been done, has been accomplished. And so, yes, when the Greeks and the Romans came, they did contribute by rebuilding certain shrines and certain temples which were, certain age, and they got old and they rebuilt them. Addition to like the library at Alexandria. In fact, the word Alexandria was named because of the so-called Alexander the Great.
Yeah, they explore.
In that early conquest in the upper and the lower Egypt. You see, he had upper Egypt, which is the Sudan, and going up, because we're going up, as opposed to lower Egypt, which is low down by the delta. So this is a part of it. Yes, and they were mingling, but the earlier people, and the first nation, it was not named Israel, it was named Ephraim. Okay, because you're talking about the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. And Ephraim was a son of Joseph, but they took the name Ephraim.
Let's start Joseph. Let's start Joseph. When Joseph was sold into slavery. Oh, sorry. Okay, I got mixed with him and Moses. And Moses because I was trying to get the color of Moses, where he would be adopted in the household of the pharaohs and not seem different. Found in the bushes, adopted in the household of the pharaohs, raised as one of them, and did not appear different. How could you present
no form, no shape, no how.
Right.
And not only that, he was given the best education. And in Acts chapter 8, I think, one of the Acts chapter 6 or earlier, it talks about Moses was learned in all the wisdom of the Egyptians. So here it is, this stranger guy in a household and was given the best education as if he was the firstborn.
Yeah, but she could not present him as her son unless he resembled them.
Yes, but the way and the disbursement of these people, yes, that is why the former Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, the word Netanyahu is Ga Adangbe. The people in Ghana is a compound word which those people still carry today. So yes, the bloodline, but like the mingling of people, the coloration varies. And we cannot deny these things. But we are saying that they came out of us from the Ephraim. The word Ephraim means to secede. You break away from. Just the way how Anguilla seceded from St. Kitts and Nevis. But there are Kittitians in Anguilla, Nevisians in Anguilla. We were mingled people. We interacted, and just like how we have Kittitian, Nevisian marriages.
Yeah, we understand.
We had Anguillan Kittitian marriages, and had Nevisian Anguillan marriages. So the people are one, the bloodline. So Greg, Ephraim was the first name that they carried as a nation. And it morphed into Israel at a long time. And the word wasn't in Israel, it was Isolele, because those languages go back into the Kikonga language and other language of the Bantu, which is deeper. As the people migrate down the river, they carry their culture with them, their linguistic expression, and they establish things all the way. The people in Egypt always look up south.
Okay.
Their heritage, they always pay homage on what you call Ethiopia. But the Ethiopia of today wasn't the name that was bestowed to the Ethiopia. That name was Abyssinia. The Ethiopia is Central Africa, the Congo. Katopia, Mrs. Henry. Katipia.
You beat Miss Henry?
Katipia. Katiopa. That is where the name Ethiopia come from. Apart from people who think it is Greek, it's not Greek in its origin. The Greeks only try to express it.
Okay.
So the Ethiopia that we knew in ancient times is totally different to the Ethiopia. The Ghana we knew now, it was totally different from the Empire of Ghana. The Sudan we knew was different from the Sudan that was ancient time. The Mali we knew was different from the Empire of Mali back then. But these countries only adopted the name when most of them became independent.
That's
so listen, and Mrs. Henry, the pay tribute to the Catholic, and the word Catholic means universal. The Catholic borrowed the concept of a woman. I was born from a woman. I must have attribute of that woman in me. I must have attribute of my father in me as the chromosome and the spiritual aspect of it. So the Catholics, what they're worshiping, they admire Mary. So be it. It's all good. A sheep don't bring a goat. Thanks for listening.
Got you. Thank you very much for your contribution. And to add to what you mentioned about Gregory being right, about Swartz and Swartz, Jamster, I'm going to mention his name, sent in this text, said, those words mean black in German. Swarthy, Stuart are the equivalent in English. He goes on to say, okay, I'll get back to that. We take this call. Call your live on Voices.
Yes.
Good day, sir.
Yes. Yes. What I'm going to say is this, Socrates, okay? Mm-hmm. Number one, Ephraim doesn't mean to separate or anything like that. Ephraim means to be fruitful.
To be fruitful?
That's what the word Ephraim means.
Fruitful
the Hebrew
fruitful?
Word Ephraim. Yeah, it means to be fruitful.
Okay, fruitful. Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't mean like separation or anything like that. That the law of Carl suggested.
Okay, sir.
So that's number one. Number two. I would like to know where in the Bible it is shown that the Israelites call themselves Ephraim. That was the first name they used to refer themselves. I would like to see that passage in the scripture. You know,
I don't know if he said this in the scripture, but of course he's free to call back and elucidate.
Let's bring the passage to. I mean, to show that the people, the Israelites call themselves as a nation Ephraim. What I know is that they call themselves Israel, and then later on, when the kingdom was split into, you had the kingdom of Israel and you had the kingdom of Judah. But at no time in the Bible do I see where the people call themselves, refer to themselves as the kingdom or nation of Israel. Okay? The reason why Ephraim name was on them, not because they call themselves as an Ephraim as a nation, but that Ephraim was the dominant tribe. And as the dominant tribe, in that sort of sense, his name was on them, but not, like I said, they call themselves a nation. Not that they label themselves as Ephraim as the name of the nation. But that's another thing. Concerning this king, you were saying, you said Jamster said Swati mean what?
Swartz, Stuart is the English equivalent of black. It says those words Swartz mean black in German. And that's where the name the Stuart came about. Many would have dark-skinned manservant or butler, Indian or black. Hence, the name Stuart, that's where it came from, the origin. So the servants were essentially called darkies based on the original German word of Swart.
Yeah, but the thing is now, if you go on Google and you look up images of Swati-skinned people, you ain't going to see what we call Negro as Swati-skinned people. You will see more like Arabs and Indians and those some Indians and those sort of stuff. You will see presented as Swati. No. You have to. One have to be careful when it comes to historical meaning of names. I'm using Swati as it is understood today. Name words change meaning. Because a word may mean something historically, doesn't mean that it means that today. And not only that, the Jamster say did the word historically mean black or dark? Which one?
He says it meant black in German.
It meant black in German. Okay. But when you go on, like I said, when you Google for Swedish-skinned people, and you look for images on Google and that sort of stuff, today it is used in the sense of dark skin, like Arabs and Indians and that sort of stuff, not in the sense of Africans, what we call Negro. Okay?
Yep,
that's another thing. But above all else, I would like to say, and like I'm saying, I not only use Swedish-skin, I even said middle brown to show what exactly I'm referring to. So if there's any ambiguity,
No, the boss said you were right. They didn't say you were wrong. And it was none about being ambiguous. They said you were right.
Yeah.
But there was a but, there was a caveat to it.
Right. You see, like I said, what a word may mean historically does not necessarily mean that it means that.
We accept that.
That's not the case. It doesn't. What word mean historically, they don't necessarily mean the same thing today.
We accept that.
You know. Yeah. And lastly, I would like to say, if anybody die outside of Jesus Christ, they will go to hell, and that's the main thing. And I would like to tell Johnny that. Johnny, Jesus Christ is the only Savior of sinners. And if we are not saved by his blood, we will end up in hell for all eternity, because we were all born with an evil, wicked heart that we all inherited from Adam, and as a result was judged and condemned by God to hell. And only the blood of Christ can save us through faith from hell and from our sins to be with
I
Jesus
am pretty
all
sure
eternity.
he would have heard you, and he may have a response. Quick question for you before you go. I asked the question, what color was Moses?
What color was Moses?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I am guessing he was the same general color as the West Israelites, which was, like I said, middle brown. But, oh yeah, it's a good thing you mentioned that. When the Pharaoh daughter met Moses in the bulrushes, she was able to identify him as one of the Israelites. So there had to be some difference between the Egyptians and the Israelites. But like I said, the Egyptians were not.
He was identified as Israelite because of the thing he was in. Right? But he was able to be raised in the household, and there was no difference. She was able to pass him off as her son.
Yep. But the thing is, all kind of people were in Israel, was in Egypt at the time. So why didn't she get mixed up with him being of some other
What I'm saying, she was able to pass him off as her son. He could not be passed off as her son if the resemblance was not strong.
But yet she saw a difference, and that's why, like I said, she was able to recognize him as an Israelite. She saw some difference, okay, and she was able to recognize him as an Israelite.
Okay.
But what I'm saying, the people of Egypt were not of one skin hue; they were of different skin hue.
Of course.
You know. So, by the way, DNA research has been done, and the people of Egypt today who are lighter skin versus people who have died in ancient time, and they see that there's a DNA connection. Same thing with Israelites today, so-called Israelites. Because I believe true Israelites are true Christians, but people who are Israelites today, in order to find the connection,
say again, you believe true Israelites are true Christians?
Yes. Based upon the Bible, Israelites are true Christian, because I think it's Romans chapter 2 said a Jew is not a Jew who is one of the skin outwardly, but a Jew is one who is of the heart. That's what Romans chapter 2 says.
Okay.
So, hello?
Are you saying, okay, I am giving you the...
Right. So being a true Israelite really is a skin thing. Sorry, not skin thing, it's really a hard thing. So it doesn't matter what color your skin is. Once you're a true Christian, you're really a true Israelite, you're a true Jew.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much for your contribution. With the first station break, we shall take one now and return.
Supermarket shoppers understand that convenience matters. At Hortsport's Value Mart IGA, we know that price matters most. Ample parking and the widest variety matter. At Hortsport's Value Mart IGA, we know that price matters most. clean, spacious aisles, and the highest level of customer service all matter. At Hortsford's Valuemart IGA, price matters most. We've renewed our commitment to guarantee the lowest prices in the Federation. Why? Because we understand that in this tough economic environment, price matters most. Shop smart. Shop Valuemart, where price matters most. Farms Estate Nevis and Wellington Road, St. Kitts.
Price matters most.
And we're back with Voices. We want to thank all the callers who called before. I would like to see a debate between Sister Henry, Gregory, Africa, Journey, and Kalonji. How you mean no? We'll have like a 3-hour debate. And then have Pastor coming back and those guys come in and, be part of the program. Here's a question, though. And this is for the public. What are your thoughts on the PM waiving the work permit fees for non-nationals and the timing of it? We know when we travel abroad, we have to engage. Of course, you're a CARICOM member, you have a 6 months, but to waive the work permit to assist, as you put it, our Caribbean brothers and sisters. There's so much going on. And I think the folks who are here from the various islands are very, very happy to hear that. But of course, I think it's designed for particular results. Of course. We go to the phone lines. Caller, your live in Voices.
Greetings to you, yes.
Good day to you, sir. How about thou? How are you doing?
I am well. All right, thou.
Count on the blessings.
Yes, sir. Okay, we're going to keep the reasoning in the same context, the same black vein.
Between what?
Huh?
I didn't quite hear you. You're a bit...
The reasoning in the same black vein.
Okay.
The reasoning, conscious vein. But before we do, biblically, a lot of people look like they ain't catch it, but you go to the Bible because as Rastafari, the Bible in our midst, I meet also elders can't read, they can't read now, right? And when you see them start to fling off Psalms after the other, and they can't put pen to paper, they can't right now read, so, it shows how the Bible is in the midst of Rastafari,
I hear you.
We are also guided by the teachings of His Majesty, So the Bible, just note, that the man who did the word Israel, is the name of a person, The word Israel was given to the twin brother of Esau. Esau, who was described, the description of Esau when he born was red and hairy all over.
Mm-hmm.
In other information, it is said that his twin brother,
he was Arab,
was born black and smooth. Pardon?
He was Arab?
Who was Arab?
There was Jacob and Esau?
Who you saying was Arab?
The one had the skin which was red and hairy. He was supposed to be Arab?
I don't know. It's just that they describe Esau when he was born as red and hairy all over. I don't know if he's Arab or whatever he is, but I'm focusing now on his twin brother Jacob, right? Whose name was later changed after a dream and certain things. His name was later changed from Jacob to Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how that it was first introduced into the Bible. The name Israel was given to Jacob, who was the twin brother of Esau, who was even though they came from the same womb, different nation, they're just different. And so a lot of people missing that. Israel was not the name of a land, of a place. Israel was mentioned.
Do you recall how we got the blessing? Did we lose that caller?
I'm still here. Are you hearing me?
Yes. Do you recall how Esau got the blessing?
Yeah, man. I know all of that. The chicory and all of that. But I'm not going there.
All
I
right.
just wanted to be
The origin
known
of the
that
name.
first was mentioned. This name was mentioned. It was given to Jacob. What I noticed in the black world, though, is that we are having too much confrontations amongst each other. We are not uniting on things that are common. In the Pan-African world, we just are arguing, keep arguing with each other, like competition. And we ought not be going there. We are wasting time. We are wasting energies. We should just focus on what we have in common in the conscious world, in the black.
It appears we would have lost a caller. We apologize to you, sir. Given a chance, please try again. He was speaking about the origins of the name Israel, how it came about, and the tribes that followed that result in what we call Israelites. We go back to the phone lines. Call your live on Voices.
Man, greetings and love,
Yes, come in, Joel, come in. How are you doing?
Blessed. Yeah, the bongo before I was saying, Israel is the name of a man,
That is correct.
Jacob.
That is correct.
Yeah, so Israel is a family of people, It's just a land. It's just a land name, so, The land going to be the name from the people,
That is correct.
So it just to say, well, today, the Israel, I got Israel today, and the Israel is Rastafari, These are people who uphold the monophysite view of God.
Are you referring to the Israel in the Middle East? We have the border conflict with the Arabs. Is that Israel referring to?
The Israel, right? The Israel in the Middle East. The people are called Israeli, right? Or Israeli or something like that, right?
Israelites, yes.
They're not Israelites,
Israeli.
Israeli or something like that. But Israelite come from the original, Israel, who was Jacob, right?
But when you said that Israelites are Rastafari, I was asking you if you were referring...
Because Israel back in the time, right? Israel back in the day. See? They were African people who held who had a view of the one nature of God. Right? Not seeing like God as different thing. It's just, it's like God the Son or God the Father. It's just one man you talk about, right? That's their view. That's Israel back in the day. So it's just in this day, Rastafari have the same one nature view of God. So when we tell Haile Selassie is God, whether spirit, son, or whatever, we just tell you just Rastafari. God, even though he seems child in the physical, he's still God of the spiritual, he just totally, Haile Selassie, right? So it was the same idea back in the time. Now Moses was a black man, and Moses came from Rasta people who had the same view. All of them were black people. Moses was a black man. Okay? I think we fear of data according to the Bible. Because remember, Africa wasn't barred out. So Africa barred out today with up so is Egypt and Kwa. So it wasn't like so back in them time there, Because this arrangement, this border, it happened in 1884, 1885, so around them time there, right? With the Berlin Conference, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the original Africa was a different thing.
Included Egypt.
Totally different.
Included Egypt.
Yes, you see. So when you say Israel, because the chosen land, the Israelites, because the Israelites, they were living in Egypt. You know what I mean? But they just had a different view of God. Just like a Rasta that living in St. Kitts, and a Rasta got a different view of God from you. Like another man who is not a, you understand?
Mm-hmm.
He will tell you, well, you have God the Son and you have God the Father, and you know what I mean? We just tell you, just Rastafari you got. You know what I mean? And Rastafari, the understanding is growing today throughout the whole earth, irrespective of race. You understand? So it's all about man and man maturing, going up to the level of His Majesty. You know what I mean? So that will show you that Rastafari is the solution. Because when we think of the political background today, we got to think about how all of this fit within the new world order. Because we know that there's a new world order that is not a conspiracy.
Quick question. What's your feedback on the event in the square on Saturday?
Huh?
What's your feedback on the event in the square on Saturday? I know you were there.
No, I wasn't there, you know.
I didn't show up.
In spirit, you know, but I feel, you know what I mean? I feel it was good for the occasion and the time, you know, but what thing we need to do, man, we need to have it, because it's a holiday, you know. It's a way of, you know, celebrating ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
You see, so it's the 25th of May. Is the day, is the African Liberation Day, and that day need to be like revered, you know. We need to really like start to think about making it a holiday, you know, and really like celebrating ourselves, because it's slavery we keep up, because back in the day when it was slavery, the slavery then couldn't celebrate nothing but on the weekend when they get off. It's a question, you know.
Understood.
So you see something continuing.
Understood.
But we could get out to celebrate the Queen birthday, and they ain't dying even she real birthday. You understand? But you know what I mean? So it's like it's a lot of things we gotta wake up yourself to.
Well, I want to thank you and people like you for bringing enlightenment to the various topics as relates to our people, right? Stay blessed, stay safe. Okay, I want to thank the caller for the contribution. Are there any callers? Standby? Oh, yes, I was trying to beat a response, solicit a response from the question I asked about the waiving of work permits at this particular point in time for, as the PM put it, our Caribbean nationals. And we go to the phone lines once again. Caller, you're live on Voices.
Good afternoon, Secretary.
Good afternoon, sir. What now?
I hear you ask a very important question about the Prime Minister. Seems like he's concerned about the overseas people now.
Yes.
This is the same Prime Minister who said to the nation that the bank water come here. You remember them words?
No, but remind me. I know your man have your hand on the pulse, so remind me of that particular
Secretary, Secretary, I don't need to be on the button.
Okay.
Let's let me refresh your mind. The Prime Minister said to Lawyer Anthony, the bank water come here. The Prime Minister said to the commercial den, C.G. Walvin, must go back with the foreign accent. These are the facts.
Okay.
He went on to also say to Dr. Drew, they come take over our country with the Cuban philosophy. If they say eat potato in Cuba. Now, let's come to the situation of repetition. It's okay to come and say that. So who is going to look after the TDC staff and the other people who did not take the vaccine? Because we're going out to the labor department right now, going to meet with the actual meeting with the manager. Because he said the last time on his show, I must go to them. So I'm now heading there to ask to have an appointment with the lady. Because if you're going to come open and say you're expunging everything for these people, I don't have a problem with them. But we know why they're expunging it. Election is around the corner. And I made to understand that the village got 800 new voters. They know where they come from. But we're watching.
Well, the
I'm
guys...
saying the Secretary, it's okay to come and talk that you're going to expunge this and that. How much months now the TDC workers and the others not working and asking for the severance money? But there's a whole heap of run around. But these people is not getting no run around to expunge the thing. I born here.
I know, okay. Let me correct you. It's not expunging. There's nothing to expunge. He said waived the business.
Whatever it is, wave, sponge, whatever. I'm saying speak the same way about the TDC workers and others who was fired unceremoniously. So if you're going to waive whatever, but let us waive and give us your money. Because the evidence has shown that we was fired unceremoniously. The letter said with immediate effect. Do we thief something, Mr. Secretary? Did we rob the place? Did we went on bad on the job? What did we do?
The letter never stated
So
any reason for.
Hello?
The letter didn't state give any reason for your dismissal.
Absolutely no reason. And I'm saying to you, you know the bad part about this letter, people need to listen in the country. How can the human resources give people a letter saying they fired with immediate effect? Secretary, what that mean? If they had said to me and all of us, thank you for your time with TDC, we wish you all the best. Well, Secretary, okay, we'll still be fighting for the money, but the letter must have some respect, Secretary.
They didn't even extend that courtesy to you?
People, Gloria Esdale, who in charge of human resources, is a brilliant lady. So how can she write a letter and give us them kind of letters with people who work for your company hard for all these years? Man, give us some respect. Thank you for your time. We wish you all the best. And if you want to come back on the job, we're free to come back on the job, I guess, based on the situation. How can I go back and work for TDC, Secretary?
No,
we put the heart and soul for the company. We put the life on the line for the company. We do everything for the company. 25 years and 25 days, 30-something years and 30-something days. All the people who work had years. Everybody was probably over 10 years. And that's the best you can give to us. And people are still in them defending these foolishness, Secretary. You got to stop. And I'm saying, just like how the Prime Minister is waving whatever. Well, I'm going to the Labour Department because it's sure what he had the last time, based on what he said to me, he said to go to them. So I'm going to make him a business and ask for a meeting with the lady. Because some people got their job to do and seem like they want to be a politics job. I'm a citizen of this country, you know.
Quick question.
We all are citizens, Secretary.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Did you go to church last Sunday?
If I do what?
Did you go to church last Sunday?
I didn't go to church last Sunday.
The last time I saw you, you were attending the church way over in Keon, so what did you went to the church?
Well, I didn't know what church I was going to, whether I was going to go to his church.
I see. I see.
But Secretary, on a serious note, you know, I'm not glad that you asked about the church. And again, let me make it clear, because you're still being called in every radio station, but it's illegal to protest this whole church.
Really?
The Secretary, if you look at the tape, again, you like to ask for clarity about the tape. Let me tell you what the pastor said when he came to us. Because if you look at the tape, you see him jump out the vehicle, and he came over. The fella said to him, Pastor, we're in here to disturb the church. The pastor said, he tapped me in the chest. He said, we could never have no disturbance outside the church with people like Curtis Cook here.
Okay.
That was his words to me. He said, I understand why you guys is here. And Secretary, in a nutshell, everybody who come and go into the church, we say good morning, they say good morning. Some of them say good morning, we say good morning. So there was an issue.
It was respectful.
A matter of fact, Larry Van was required outside. So there was no issue, absolutely none. So Sylvian, get your act together. I know you can't just see well. We did not disturb the church in no shape or form. We didn't have no noise. We didn't stand up in front of the church to block people from going. Absolutely nothing. Because even the police comes, Secretary, the police was wondering what they call it here for. What is this? And when the police said to move, we didn't behave like Lindsey Grant. So Sylvian, it was just that. We didn't tell the police we're going to lock them up. We didn't say we're not moving. Secretary moved peacefully. And we had a conversation with the police all after. Because when the service is going on, we were speaking with the police, with your cool on this side, waiting till when he's done. That's when we started to talk to him, when he come out the church. So there was absolutely no disturbance. And I'm disappointed in the Commissioner of Police to say that we went low. Commissioner of Police, you must do your work. Because the tape with Lindsey Grant behavior towards your officers, and you didn't stand in solidarity with your officers. Stop letting the Prime Minister have you like a puppet.
Okay, Goddess.
That's all I have to say, Secretary. Have a good day.
Thank you very much for that contribution as we now go back to station break.
Manifest your desires, celebrating mothers in May. Manifest your desires while we celebrate mothers in the month of May at Horsewood's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store. Get 20% off store-wide on big and small appliances, bedroom and dining room sets, stoves, refrigerators, smart flat screen TVs, living room sets, mattresses, dryers, blenders, toaster ovens, and much, much more. Manifest your desires while we celebrate mothers in the month of May at Horsewood's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store with 20% off store-wide. Manifest your desires as we celebrate mothers in May and get 20% off store-wide at Horsewood's. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
Just about 7 minutes before the end of today's program, I did ask a question about the work permit waiving, and I got the answer plus. The numbers to call are 466-0989, 662-0989, 762-089. And we go straight to the phone lines, call 11 voices. Would we have missed that caller? Given a chance, please call back again. We would like to get your contribution before we close the program today. So yes, I saw a clip about the church thing, and very interesting, but I didn't know that there was a response from Sister Henry saying that they were disturbing the church, or whatever the word was. So if we can hear from her before we close today, that would be great. In the meantime, it's been a very, how shall we say it? We have ebbs and waves. We have contribution from Journey from just about everybody who normally calls in. So it's been a good program today so far. And the question, Chris, what are you saying? And I mentioned the name of another contributor who didn't want his name called, but it's all good. It's all good. Let me see if I can read what they said. The people who now call themselves Egyptians freely say they are not the original Egyptians, as they know their ancestors colonized, invaded, conquered Egypt, and both killed and drove the real Egyptians to the south. Supposed to be there are black Africans in the south of all those North African countries now overrun by Arabs and other forms. We go back to the phone lines. Caller live on voices.
Good afternoon, King.
Good afternoon, sir. Welcome to the program.
Yeah, I want to make a contribution.
Please go ahead.
Now, King, now look at the African Liberation Day.
Yes.
In this prayer on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all the churches them got a denomination with a worship. And I believe at the African Liberation Day, even 5,000 black people should have been here celebrating on that day. Sometimes we got to put away certain things and celebrate these things because we know that the Bible is true. We know that the Creator created heaven and earth. But we know that something else that to keep black people together as one. And we know what black people went through. So I believe that separating ourselves from one another with different religions is only putting us in more darkness and more tribalism and all those things.
Correct.
Fighting on each other.
Correct.
We got to come together as black people. You understand? And I think the Africa caller before talk about the age of black people to one another, how we treat one another, how we want to do one another, envy one another, you know, try to bring down one another. And I don't see it in the future anyway now, brother the King, that black people will come as one. We live in a small nation with over maybe 50-something thousand people.
Mm-hmm.
And we majority is black. And up to now, we cannot see we own brothers and sisters as one African descendant and try to try to keep and uplift one another. You know, however we can live it and remember that it's not about the Rasta. It's about us as black people. You understand? And the Rasta trying to keep up the black African liberation there. You know? Other people turning out from it. I passed by this way and, you know, it was a disappointing thing to me to see that the amount of people who was in
yeah.
You understand? these things that we're supposed to recognize. We know that where we come from. We're supposed to know where we come from and where we went through. And Rascal General those taught us because he got documented all those things. And every time I go on, he just teach me like these things. We forget about the Bible. We know the Bible is spiritually that's to guide man the right way.
You mentioned
Hello?
you mentioned that the churches and the many denominations, right, that helps to divide us. You have to acknowledge the fact that it was the churches.
We're in a church. We could have black member churches there too. People who go to church. Rasta man. Whoever religion you join. But as black people, we got to remember where we come from. We got to remember where we come from. That's why we so much hatred and so much against one another and envy one another and try to know. Even in politics, you don't see. Look at the politics here. Bitter. Black man against black man. All over the world, all over the Caribbean. Black man against black man.
That's the power struggle.
We got to come together as one man.
When it comes to the politics, it's a power struggle. We are actually about to wrap things up, so I want to thank you for your contribution. But when it comes to the politics, whether black, white, blue, or orange, or whatever, it's normally a power struggle. But on the point you raised about the denominations, we have to take into consideration that it was the churches that first designed our education system. The government took over some years after. But the Anglican Church, the Methodist Church, all the churches out of Europe, they're the ones who designed our education system, which was not designed to make us to feel good about ourselves. And that continues at many levels today. They complain about the curriculum being taught in the classrooms. It needs to be changed. From the days of the Methodist Church and the Anglican Church, teaching us about ourselves with a certain agenda in mind, that has not changed. Until that's addressed, you're going to have African Liberation Day with just a spattering of people attending because our interests are not focused on ourselves, our development, our history as a people, but on what we're taught from the pulpit. On that note, I want to thank all the listeners, all the viewers, all those who made a contribution to make this program possible. Thank you once again. You'll be listening to Voices. My name is Socrates, and hopefully we shall wrap again midweek. Have yourself a wonderful one.